Hey everybody, it's me, Chasey Poo. Today is a video I don't want to make, a video I thought I would never have to make, but I'm going to make it because I want to educate people who watch my channel and let them know what's going on in the United States regarding trans rights right now. And yes, I'm not from the United States, I'm Canadian. I follow American politics very closely. Like 90% of my friends are in the United States, so it affects quite a lot of people that I love. So I pay very close attention. So today I'm going to educate you on what's going on. But I also want you to read the articles about what's going on because I also want to rant a little bit and I might just go on a tangent.
You only posted 2 articles and they both bash on Trump. But hey, should I be surprised?
So what's going on? Well, just to give you like a spoiler alert, this is some bullshit. Oh, and I'm not going to censor myself because I am so tired of having to do that.
Sounds like a challenge to me. Very well. Then throughout the remainder of the video, I will censor myself. So, bring it, you hair-colored, changing face, butchering...
Can I just be myself? Can I just be a trans person? Can I exist? Oh, well, apparently, under the Trump administration, no you can't.
Here's what I think you're misunderstanding here. I'm pretty sure we're talking about people who identify as a gender that we have no idea what the hell they're talking about. A guy who colors his hair a random, extreme color, places a flower on his head, followed by a ridiculous gender identity he found in Ash Ardell's book. That's who we're saying, you guys are nuts, and the people's tax dollars should not go towards that. It seems that ever since Trump got into office, everybody's brain has switched off the reasoning part and put the emotions into level 11. Thus begins the accepting process into all things retarded. Everyone just begins accepting the fact that there are actually more than 2 genders. As for the trans people like Blair White, we're cool with them. Because if they want to transition from one sex to another, they will do what they gotta do to transition. Unlike you, Chase, you're about 85% complete. You haven't worked on anything downstairs, not because you don't have the money or the time to do it yet. You just stopped there, and now call yourself a not-binary, whatever the hell that means. And let's talk about the medical stuff real quick. Is this rant of yours going to convince the doctors and health insurance groups to give in and let you off with some kind of pass because my feelings? Seriously, which one will the doctor and health insurance group going to help more? Someone who wants to change from one sex to another, or someone who just had a heart attack?
So under the Obama administration, gender was loosely defined as an individual's choice, which is a little bit problematic.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
But also as something that is not determined by your sex assigned at birth, which is awesome and leaves room for trans people to actually be included in like laws that protect against gender discrimination.
How could you not have noticed that the Dems gave in to your bitching and demands?
Of course, a lot of people were opposed to this, like the people who deal with dorms and like locker rooms and bathrooms. Do I even need to go into the bathroom debate? Why is there even a debate? Let people pee.
And let the assault and attempted rape commence!
Also, I'm getting a lot of my information from articles that I read, so please take a look at the links in the description below so you can get more information as well.
2 articles, Chase. You know, 2? As in, there are only 2 genders? Oh, come on, you set me up!
So why is this such bullshit, Chase? Why? I mean, you're only talking about Obama. What could Trump do that could be so bad for trans rights? How about completely erase us? How about that? Completely erase us out of existence like we don't exist for real at all. Who are we? No one. Poof.
Only the ones that have made-up genders like gray or abro or asexual.
I know that sounds dramatic, but wait. They're planning on changing this definition of gender. And they're planning on changing it to something that is biological and a condition determined by genitalia at birth.
And that is horrible. How?
Now, while reading this article, I was a little confused because it seems like they're using sex and gender kind of interchangeably sometimes when they're talking about policies, which was really confusing because we all know that it's not the same thing.
Well, no wonder why you couldn't understand it. The writer tried its best to write it in the best SJW way, but I'm sure the writer did its best and was like, "F*** it, they'll understand."
So it's confusing as to what they're planning on doing and why they're doing this. So because they're changing the definition of gender to something, biological and something, you're born with.
Oh, sounds like someone hates hearing the facts.
And that completely erases trans people completely out of existence, because if gender is only something that is determined by your sex assigned at birth, then by definition, trans people don't exist.
Kitty!
Anyways, so because they're changing this definition of gender, that means that a lot of the policies are going to be changing as well. So Title IX is a federal civil rights law that bans any gender discrimination in education programs that are funded and financially aided by the United States government.
Sounds like the Trump administration is saving us some moolah by getting rid of these ridiculous programs like those ridiculous regulations set up by the EPA that was hurting our pockets.
Because they want to change this definition of gender to exclude trans people, that literally means that if somebody is trans and they get discriminated against and they say, hey, I was discriminated against because I'm trans, it should go under the gender discrimination law. Nope.
What, you mean like no one wants to date or be in a serious relationship based on the preferences, but you just want to say, no, it's discrimination?
So let me give you a little example. Let's say you're a trans woman and you get discriminated against based on being a trans woman. So because your gender is now only your sex assigned at birth, you can't be protected under that law. That means that they'll be like, nah, you're actually, I'm sorry, male. That is so triggering. It is.
Easy, Chase. Your emotions are interfering.
Look, I knew this video was going to be hard to make, but like, Hunty, I'm having a very fucking hard time right now dealing and processing with this. I'm not even joking. I've been filming for 45 minutes. This is my 5th time trying to film this video.
That's your fault. And here I thought trans wanted to be equal. And if that's true, why ask the government for help via discrimination laws? Don't you realize that when you whine to mommy government, not only will they help you out, they will go even further to the point where you'll be like, hey, what the f***? I didn't ask for this. Well, too bad. Wouldn't surprise me that the government would go beyond your demand because it was a waste of their time and you pissed them off so much.
So basically, Obama gave trans people all these rights, and the Trump administration is going to get it in and take it all back. So any type of trans protection in the United States under the law, federally, isn't there anymore.
Looks like you trainees will just have to live life like the rest of us.
Equally!
And I say federally with like emphasis, because a lot of these things that we hear, like, oh, in Texas, oh, in New Mexico, oh, in North Carolina, but it seemed to had only happened to a couple of states.
Because it's usually a state-by-state decision, and the feds just recognize it.
This is on a federal level.
And it shouldn't, because it burns a hole in our pockets and makes you into attention whores.
Which means that in the entire United States, the laws of discrimination is gonna change.
So you don't want to be equal. You expect us to be like you guys up there, where if we misuse someone's pronouns by accident, you could take us to court and end up in jail. Not gonna happen.
What kind of fucking world do we live in? They literally were like, no, we're gonna change the definition of gender, something more uniform, something more explicit, something that's more clear to people so that people will really understand what it means. Because apparently saying that gender is something that is not determined by the sex you were assigned at birth is very confusing to people.
Ash Hardell's book. Nuff said.
Instead of educating them on what that even means.
It's a waste of time and resources. If we cannot understand the concept of you guys using they as your pronoun, how the f*** will being educated on this help us? Besides, there are schools that have gender studies. How useful is that, and why is that in the curriculum?
So let's spend millions of dollars on changing the definition of gender, which doesn't need to be changed.
Instead, let's spend millions of dollars on education classes that will help normies understand how important it is to use the right pronouns to some dumb and know how all these genders that came out of nowhere for the past few years are apparently very important.
Can I just rant for 3 seconds?
Why?
Remember that one time that Trump had a rainbow flag and it was upside down and it said LGBT for Trump? See, I'm not sure if that picture is real because some people have said it's fake and it wasn't true that it was upside down, although it looks very real to me.
Wait a minute. What the You guys got pissed that he held the flag wrong? As in the purple stripe was supposed to be on top and the red on the bottom? When it was supposed to be the other way around? You triggered faggots got pissed at the president for that? Of all the things to be pissed off about, that was the main problem with the flag being held the wrong way?
Remember that? Remember how said? You remember? And there are literally quotes of Trump saying that we're going to protect everyone. This is to protect everyone. How the fuck is changing the definition to erase trans people out of existence protecting everyone?
The ones who live in the world of make-believe cannot be saved. Do I really have to spell it out for you? People who actually transition via surgery and hormones gets a pass. Wearing clothing meant for the opposite gender and using a made-up identity do not count. How the are we supposed to help lunatics like that?
You're basically saying that trans people aren't people because you're saying we want to protect everyone except the trans people.
It's getting really annoying having to repeat myself every time. You making these demands that making us accept that there are more than two genders and the spectrum nonsense and the pronouns bullshit. Never gonna happen.
And when I mean like sex at birth, by the way, I mean like they literally say genitalia.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
And they said, I couldn't believe this when I read this. I was like, okay, but what happens? Like, there's people who are intersex and like, hello, that happens.
You're talking about birth defects!
They said that if they can't tell by the genitalia of somebody, excuse me, then they're going to do a genetic test. Alrighty. Really? I thought we had gone through this, man. That doesn't work.
What do you guys think? Should we trust a trans with hair showing different colors every other hour and odd facial piercings in the face, or a doctor who has gone through years and years of medical training?
And also, really? Genitalia? Like, are we talking children? Are we talking adults? Like, you want to go to the bathroom, show me your genitals? What the Like I said, I have a lot of friends in the United States, and it really scares me to know that a lot of them won't be protected under this.
Protected how? Why should the federal government get involved in this in the first place? And more importantly, why should my tax dollars be wasted on this?
And it was such a monumental thing when trans people were kind of acknowledged, and the president of the United States said transgender, and I was like shook because that, you know, they never said that word before, and I was like, oh my god, now people are gonna know that we exist.
Oh my goodness, oh my gosh, I think we've gone full Macintosh.
Obviously, it was a step forward, and now I feel like we've taken a decade back, like we have ran the opposite direction forcefully. We don't want to, because federally, we no longer exist. What the? Hello, what? No. Okay, here's the thing. Rant time, we fucking exist, all right? You can't delete us. You cannot erase us. We are here.
We can't make you shut up about it and tell you to get over it.
We are all over the planet. We are all over the United States.
About 2 million in a country of 325 million.
And when this law passes, we will fight. We will be there on the streets. There are protests every single day since that was announced. Sorry, I'm getting like emotional. Just give me a second.
Damn you and your emotions. What good will this fight do?
I will say, though, that I'm very happy to see a lot of celebrities supporting us and saying, like, the fuck?
Oh, you mean celebrities like Charlize Theron, who once said to have thoughts of leaving the US because of Trump? These celebrities are just as brain dead as you are!
I am just so shook. Like, I knew that bad things were gonna happen under Trump. We all knew. We all knew. No matter how many... No, he's going to be good for LGBT rights. He's going to be good for women. There was not one ounce in me that thought and that had a hope that he would actually be good for the LGBT community. I thought that he was just going to leave us alone and not talk to us, not talk about us, but now it's worse. Now you are deciding to delete us. And like, I feel like I'm not expressing myself because I'm a bit emotional right now, but I want everybody who's watching this video who isn't trans to really understand what that means. Imagine the government changing a law that now literally doesn't include you anymore, and you are not included in any law, even though you were before.
Oh my God!
Like, you have been stripped of all of your rights.
Straw man, I can't stand it when you spew it over and over again.
And to anybody watching who is part of the LGBT community, or who has somebody in their family, in their life who's LGBT, and voted for Trump and said, no, it's fine. I want you to really assess what's going on right now, because I don't want to sit here and say, I told you so. I don't want to have to tell you that. I want to be able to say, hey, he left us alone. That was great. Unfortunately, he didn't, and I'm sorry, but that is partly your fault.
What a dick!
Because you voted for him, and I'm so scared of him getting reelected, and unfortunately, I was looking at like the statistics, and statistically, they almost always get reelected, like Bush was reelected, you know?
And how Obama got reelected, remember?
So what I'm going to do in this video right now is 3 things. 1, acknowledge every single fucking trans person that's watching this. You are valid. You exist. Do not listen to these people. I don't care if they are these government officials and they're supposed to be the authority on who we are and on what we're supposed to do. Absolutely not. We exist. We're here. We have always been here and we will always be here.
Ugh. I'm gonna end it here. Not missing much in the end. All he does is plug his shirts, a trans suicide hotline, and once again, repeats the same shit that they will never be erased. If you trans, whatever the hell you are, wants to be equal so bad you whine to the government for help, then you're not for equality then, aren't you?